Josh Hart, one of the most recognizable and hard-working players on the New York Knicks, isn't shying away from the truth. He's speaking openly about the challenge of transitioning from being a full-time starter to a key reserve, a change that has tested both his mentality and his role on a team with championship aspirations. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Under new head coach Mike Brown, the Knicks have adopted an entirely new identity. Brown, known for his structured defensive approach and his ability to bring out the best in role players, has reshaped how New York operates on both ends of the court. Despite returning all major contributors from last season's thrilling run to the Eastern Conference Finals, this team looks and feels different. The Knicks' defense, which ranked middle of the pack a year ago, has climbed into the league's top 10. Their improvement is even more impressive considering the number of injuries and lineup changes they've already endured. Offensively, the Knicks are still finding their rhythm, but there's no question about the direction Brown wants to take them. Jalen Brunson, the team's floor general and emotional leader, has been at the center of that transformation. He's taking more three-pointers than ever before and pushing the pace in ways that reflect Brown's modernized, space-first philosophy. Meanwhile, Karl-Anthony Towns continues to anchor the middle, not because that was necessarily the plan, but because Mitchell Robinson is once again sidelined by injury. Robinson's absence has had a domino effect on the rotation. The Knicks had planned to continue experimenting with a double-big lineup that became a surprise strength last season, but without their defensive anchor, adjustments had to be made. One of those adjustments came at a cost. It sent Josh Hart, one of the team's most versatile and beloved players, to the bench. Hart had already seen his starting role slip away late in last year's postseason, but with Robinson out and Brown's system demanding new configurations, that sixth-man label became permanent. For a player who led the NBA in minutes per game last season, 37.6 per night across 77 starts, the adjustment has been massive. This season, Hart's numbers have dropped significantly. He's averaging just 3.7 points per game on far fewer possessions and playing nearly 13 minutes less per contest. For someone known for his relentless energy, physical defense, and hustle plays, it's been a jarring transition. "I feel like I've got the biggest adjustment out of the whole team," Hart admitted, speaking candidly to Christian Winfield of the New York Daily News. "Just in terms of role, starting, not starting, how the minutes are gonna be. I've talked to Mike about how it's gonna go, and I've got to know every position. There'll be times I'm bringing the ball up, times I'm the 5, times I'm the 4, I literally have to know every play from every spot on the floor." Hart's comments reflect the reality of a player caught between two worlds, talented enough to start, but selfless enough to accept a supporting role. It's a dynamic that every great team faces, and Hart's willingness to adapt could prove to be one of the defining factors of New York's season. This isn't new territory for Hart. Over his 9 years in the NBA, he's played for 7 different head coaches, moving between teams and systems that required him to constantly reinvent himself. From Los Angeles to New Orleans to Portland and now New York, Hart has built his reputation on consistency, hustle, and team-first mentality. Still, this time feels different. The Knicks, under Brown, are building something that Hart believes can truly compete at the highest level, and that belief has helped him accept a smaller individual role in pursuit of a larger collective goal. "I think throughout the season it'll be a battle of kind of fighting the egotistical view of it," Hart said. "I think I did have a good year last year, and now the role is totally different. I've had to sacrifice my whole career. So it's never like, okay cool, and it's seamless. There are gonna be days where I'm just like, man, that's some bull. But it's about fighting that feeling, staying focused, and understanding that this is what's best for the team." Hart's honesty is refreshing, a glimpse into the emotional balance required to play in the NBA. It's a league where roles can change overnight, and egos often clash with opportunity. But in Hart's case, his maturity and professionalism stand out. He understands the long game. The Knicks don't just want to be good, they want to be great. And that means every player must buy into Brown's system, even when it demands uncomfortable changes. For Brown, Hart's versatility is indispensable. He can defend multiple positions, rebound like a power forward, and handle the ball in transition. That flexibility makes him the kind of player coaches trust in crucial moments, whether he's starting or not. His presence off the bench brings energy, organization, and leadership to a second unit that has struggled to find rhythm early in the season. Gershon Yabusele and Jordan Clarkson, 2 other key reserves, have also battled inconsistency, leaving Hart as the stabilizer in a group still searching for identity. His ability to adapt and fill gaps, even in a limited offensive role, has kept New York's bench afloat while Brown continues to experiment with rotations. The good news for the Knicks is that help appears to be on the horizon. Mitchell Robinson is reportedly getting closer to making his season debut, and his return could restore some of the balance that made last year's team so difficult to play against. A healthy roster would allow Brown to better define roles, reduce the nightly chaos, and possibly ease the transition for players like Hart who've had to sacrifice the most. But until then, Josh Hart remains one of the emotional anchors of this Knicks squad, the kind of player who embodies the team's grit, resilience, and selflessness. His willingness to confront the challenge head-on, without sugarcoating the frustration, is exactly what makes him such a respected figure in the locker room. In a league driven by numbers and status, Hart's story is a reminder that winning often comes from sacrifice. And while his role may have changed, his importance to the Knicks' identity has not. Whether he's playing 38 minutes or 18, starting or coming off the bench, Josh Hart continues to represent what New York basketball is all about: toughness, accountability, and the relentless pursuit of something bigger than individual success. Mike Brown urges patience as Knicks fans panic over rough start. The season is young, but tensions in New York are already boiling. The Knicks, expected to be among the Eastern Conference powerhouses, have stumbled early, and frustration is spreading fast through Madison Square Garden. Head coach Mike Brown, brought in to elevate an already playoff-tested roster, finds himself facing scrutiny just weeks into his first season at the helm. After consecutive losses, including a disappointing defeat to the Milwaukee Bucks, fans have flooded social media with criticism, questioning Brown's system, his rotations, and even his motivational approach. But Brown isn't backing down. He's urging calm, asking fans to give this group time to find its footing before jumping to conclusions. "It'll take some time," Brown said in a post-practice interview. "It's hard to get a true evaluation in the first 5 to 10 games. I think most people around the league know, during the first month and a half, everybody feels like they've got a chance. Guys are playing hard, teams are engaged. But the ones that start hot aren't always the ones that finish that way," he told the New York Post. Brown's message is simple: patience. The coach insists the Knicks are still adjusting to new schemes, new defensive principles, and a slightly restructured lineup. Though much of last season's core remains intact, Brown's approach differs from his predecessors. He's emphasizing tempo, ball movement, and defensive versatility, a combination that often takes time to gel. He reminded reporters that early season struggles are common even among top-tier teams. "You can't overreact to a bad week or a bad stretch," Brown said. "What matters is how we respond and how we grow from it." But if Brown is calm, Knicks fans are anything but. Fan frustration boils over. Following the loss to Milwaukee, Brown's post-game remarks added fuel to the fire. When asked why the Knicks looked flat in the second half, he responded that the team might need to get hit in the mouth a few times to learn what it takes to win consistently. To the average listener, it was a comment about resilience, the idea that adversity can toughen a team. But in New York, where every word is dissected and magnified, it sounded like an excuse. Within minutes, the fan reaction online was fierce. "We aren't a team trying to find an identity. We were a championship contender," one fan wrote on X, formerly Twitter. "You walked into a loaded roster. Why are we losing winnable games?" Another fan aimed the frustration directly at Brown's leadership. "Enough with the excuses. The head coach is just as accountable as the players. It's his job to integrate the scheme, the roles, the system. You can't just hope it clicks, you have to make it work." And a third summed up what many are feeling. "He's talking like this is a young team that's never been through anything. Last year, we were the ones hitting people in the mouth." The criticism reflects more than just impatience. It's a reminder of how high expectations are in New York. The Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals last season with a roster built on toughness, cohesion, and veteran leadership. Losing that edge, even briefly, feels unacceptable to a fan base that has waited decades for sustained success. A new system, a new standard. Still, it's worth noting that Brown inherited a unique situation. He's not rebuilding a broken franchise. He's taking over a team that was already winning and trying to push it further. That's a tougher task than it sounds. Brown's offensive system demands constant motion and decision-making. His defense relies on flexibility and communication. Both take time to master, even for experienced players. He's also working to balance star roles, especially between Jalen Brunson, the team's emotional leader and playmaker, and Karl-Anthony Towns, the new frontcourt centerpiece. The early struggles, Brown argues, aren't a sign of dysfunction but of growth. "We've got guys learning new responsibilities," he said. "That takes chemistry. That takes rhythm. And that doesn't happen overnight." Can Brown turn it around? Despite the noise, there's no reason to believe the Knicks can't right the ship. Brunson remains one of the league's most dependable guards, and Towns brings elite scoring versatility. Add in defensive anchors like Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby, plus other role players contributing off the bench, and it's clear the talent is there. The question is whether Brown can connect it all fast enough. In New York, the patience he's asking for rarely exists. Every game feels like a referendum, every loss like a crisis. The Knicks fan base doesn't want to hear about adjustments or time. They want wins, grit, and the fire that defined last season's playoff run. If the Knicks can find their rhythm by mid-November, Brown's message of patience may start to resonate. But if the team continues to falter, the pressure will grow louder, from the fans, from the media, and perhaps even from the front office. Brown knows the stakes. "This city deserves a winner," he said. "And that's what we're building toward. But it's a process. We're going to get there." For now, the Knicks head coach is asking New York to trust the process, even if the process doesn't come with immediate satisfaction. But in this city, trust isn't given. It's earned, one hard-fought win at a time. And that's exactly what Mike Brown has to deliver, soon. Shams Charania just set the NBA world buzzing. The New York Knicks nearly pulled off one of the most shocking trades in franchise history. According to new reports, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the face of the Milwaukee Bucks and one of the league's most dominant players, came closer to wearing orange and blue than anyone ever imagined. What was once dismissed as off-season rumor is now sounding like a real story, one that could have changed the balance of power across the entire Eastern Conference. Sources close to the situation told Full Court Pass that legitimate trade discussions took place this summer between the Bucks and the Knicks. There was a 2-week stretch where both sides knew Giannis wanted to play in New York, and the Bucks knew it too, NBA insider Shams Charania revealed. Talks were happening. Offers were made. It was real. It just never reached the finish line. That window of opportunity might have been small, but it was serious enough to shake both organizations. For New York, a franchise that spent years searching for a true global superstar, this was the kind of swing that could redefine its future. For Milwaukee, it raised an uncomfortable question. Could they really hold on to the player who delivered them their first championship in 50 years? Earlier reports from ESPN had already hinted that Giannis was quietly exploring his options following another disappointing postseason exit. While his public comments at the time reflected loyalty to Milwaukee, behind the scenes, multiple sources described an internal debate, one where New York quickly emerged as his preferred destination. For weeks, the two franchises reportedly exchanged frameworks and financial structures, though a full agreement was never reached. The Bucks ultimately backed off, unwilling to part ways with their superstar unless overwhelmed by a historic offer. The Knicks, on the other hand, were aggressive but cautious, unwilling to strip down their young core or future assets completely in one move, even for a player of Giannis' caliber. At the center of it all was timing. Milwaukee's struggles since their 2021 championship have become impossible to ignore. The Bucks have fallen in the first round of the playoffs 3 times in the past 4 years, including 3 consecutive early exits. Last season's collapse was particularly brutal, capped off by Damian Lillard's devastating Achilles injury. For a franchise once viewed as a perennial title threat, the cracks were starting to show. It was that uncertainty that opened the door for the Knicks to make their move. Under head coach Mike Brown, New York has redefined its identity, built on defense, ball movement, and an unrelenting competitive edge. Coming off a deep playoff run last season, the Knicks were searching for the final piece to elevate them from a gritty playoff team to a legitimate title contender. And when whispers began that Giannis might be open to a new chapter, New York's front office saw a rare opportunity to strike. But Giannis himself was quick to shut down the talk, at least publicly. After the Bucks defeated the Knicks 121-111 on October 29th, he addressed the rumors head-on. "Who said that?" he responded when asked about reports linking him to New York. "I'm here representing my team. That's it. We beat the Knicks. I don't read those articles. I stay away from rumors, speculation, trades, all that." His tone was firm but controlled, The kind of response that puts out fires in the short term but leaves fans and analysts wondering what's really happening behind the curtain. After all, Giannis has never been shy about expressing his desire to win above all else. Back in July, he stated plainly that he didn't want to play in New York, reiterating that his focus was on bringing another championship to Milwaukee. And so far this season, his play has made that statement loud and clear. Through 5 games of the 2025-26 campaign, Antetokounmpo is putting up jaw-dropping numbers: 36.3 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists per game on nearly 70% shooting from the field. Those are MVP-level stats by any standard, and they've propelled the Bucks to a strong 4-1 start, just behind the Chicago Bulls in the Central Division standings. Giannis looks as motivated as ever, playing with the kind of energy and dominance that once earned him back-to-back MVP awards. His combination of power, agility, and efficiency remains unmatched, a reminder to everyone in the league why Milwaukee fought so hard to keep him. Still, questions about the Bucks' long-term outlook remain. With Lillard sidelined and several key veterans aging, the pressure is mounting on Milwaukee's front office to surround Giannis with a roster capable of competing deep into the postseason. Anything short of that could reignite trade speculation next summer, and if that happens, the Knicks will be waiting, ready to make another push. For now, New York can only wonder how close they truly were. A superstar of Giannis' magnitude in Madison Square Garden would have instantly transformed the franchise's future and electrified the city in a way not seen since the days of Patrick Ewing. It would have been a seismic moment, not just for the Knicks, but for the NBA as a whole. The Greek Freak may have shut the door on the rumors for now, but in a league where loyalty and legacy often collide, doors like that never stay closed for long. If Milwaukee's playoff struggles continue and frustrations grow, the conversation could resurface, louder, bolder, and with even higher stakes. Until then, the Knicks remain patient, ambitious, and quietly confident that their time, and their superstar, are still on the horizon.